right. Peace, peace, family. Should be on live in a moment with Dr. Aris. All right. Peace and blessings, Tiffany. Just thought I'd go live. We should be good this week. Last week we had some internet issues on the Panama end. But just to update you, I will be leaving for Panama on Thursday, and we'll be there live together, and hoping create some magic while we're there. But yeah, today I'm excited about what we're going to talk about. It is the Equinox, and hope you're all doing some level or some sort of fasting for these next few days. It's a key time, definitely. Our bodies it's a transition time. So when we go through transition moments, we want them to be transformative. In order for them to be transformative, we need to be able to take a break. We need to be able to reflect. We need to be able to destimulate. So this is all like an ideal time, this day and the next few days, as the sun makes its transition, from northern hemisphere to southern hemisphere. So, for those of us that live in the northern hemisphere, it's definitely a time, like I said, the sun is moving away from us, and therefore it's a time to, really reflect. It's not a time to necessarily begin things anew. It's really a time where the wind is at our front versus our back. And so really it's a time for reflection of this previous year. Things that we did good, things that we did not so good. So, really eating, or I should say not eating, is going to be important. All right. All right. The doctor is here. I'm going to add him. All right.
Okay. So here I am, all live with Khepra.
All right.
Chef Khepra.
Yes. Good. Yes. Welcome. All right. We sounding good. Are you going to add on to the Instagram?
Yeah, we are on Instagram. Okay, there you are. And also we're on with our family here on Facebook as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so we have the Aris family on Facebook is on with us. We have our Instagram community, and here we are on YouTube with Chef Khepra of Khepra's Juice World, Juice Kingdom over there.
Okay.
Juice and raw food in DC.
Okay.
Okay, so how you doing today, my brother?
Oh, excellent, man. Happy Equinox.
Happy Equinox. Yeah. This is the equalizer day, equal daylight, equal nighttime here,
right.
Where we are. Even though I'm in Panama, we are technically we are on the southern hemisphere weather pattern, but the what's going on here is that we're so close to the northern hemisphere. We're the bridge between the north and the south. So
Right.
what's going on is that we are actually really enjoying the best of both worlds. And the southern equinox is still equal daylight, equal nighttime, but for the south it is now spring, and for the north it is now autumn or the fall, and we are pretty much in spring and fall right now, being in Panama, the center of the world, the heart of the universe, the bridge to the world. And we are definitely enjoying, here where I am. We're at the Sunfire Culinary City campus, the campus in Panama City. And we are overlooking the Panama Canal. We are definitely in a position that we can see the world, we can view the world, and the world can see us, in action at all time. It's a major crosswords road to the world here in Panama. Maritime crossroad, land crossroad, and air traffic flow. Panama connects the north and the south in more than one ways.
Mm,
So, welcome, family,
mm,
and my brother Khepra. What's the
mm.
word of the day, man?
Well, I posted our AP just asked about the accommodations uh,
Okay.
retreat, and if the retreat included the accommodations. So I just
Yes,
sent it, but if you wanted to
yes,
speak
all
on
of our retreats on our calendar that we have been circulating, the price does include the accommodation. And right now, during this reality of the COVID, structure around the world, we have both of our campuses available to accommodate all of our students, whether we're at the farm, in the country, out into the rainforest, or here in the city at our city campus as well. One thing that ones need to know, Panama has a new rule in effect as of this past Friday. All travelers that are coming into Panama from the US, there is a mandatory 3-day quarantine in effect now. We don't know how long this is going to last, whether it's going to go into October, November, December, or stay in effect indefinitely.
it. All right, froze up there. All right, so until he comes, there you go.
Okay,
All right, all right. The last thing we heard was you don't know if it's gonna, how long it's gonna continue.
that's correct. We don't know how long it's going to continue. They have not, well, it's basically based on what's going on in the US, strictly. So in the US, there's a high incidence of COVID occurrences over there. So the US is a high risk area for people traveling from the US. It's a high risk area. So Panama have, I think, a level 4 alert, which means that, you know, directed towards travelers from the US, that you need to quarantine for 3 days automatically. And if you're not a Panamanian resident or citizen, then you would need to quarantine in a government designated hotel. So we have identified one within 10 minutes of our institute campus location here in Panama City. So anyone that's coming to any of our activities and you You do have to serve in the quarantine for 3 days. So, but you'll be close to our city campus, which means we would provide all of your meals, all of your food for you from the day you get off the plane. And I'm still trying to find out whether we can actually pick you up and take you to the hotel, or whether But I haven't seen it announced otherwise anywhere. So more than likely, we would pick you up at the airport and take you to check in to your hotel, and we'll bring your package of food immediately, your landing package. And we would provide food. You can order food out every day, so we would deliver your food for all of your meals while you're in the 3 days of quarantine. And the cost of the hotel is something that would have to be bared uh, on this end as well, and it's $84. So we would have direct conversations with each individual to see how we would manage that as an entity together, and we're here to support you on all levels to make sure that we get the maximum value even out of our quarantine time. So we would be engaging with you online even during your quarantine. We will be available to engage with you online, even if it's about dropping the science with you or bringing you in the kitchen for a recipe demonstration. But we would maintain direct communication and engagement with you uh, throughout your period of quarantine, and you will be definitely have your meals delivered to you, and you will have high-speed internet to connect with your loved ones and family abroad as well. So that's the status of travel to Panama right now. And you will have a rich experience here in the city at our city campus. And we will take you out to the farm as well. So based on a day-to-day, reality check, we would determine how much time at the farm, how much time in the city campus, but you would be in our accommodation orbit. And again, your accommodation is included in the price of the retreat. Okay, is there any other questions, my brother, that we can address at this point? Yeah, I don't know if Khepra is picking up my audio. Are you picking up my audio, Khepra?
So to be clear,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, yeah. So can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So so to be clear, would our guests be responsible for that cost of the quarantine hotel, or that would be included?
Well, at this point, I think we need to speak with our guests individually, but I think
Okay.
it would be a shared. Ideally, I would feel that it should be a shared cost.
Okay.
Because this is beyond both of our control, and we're here to partner, all the way with our guests on all levels. But your meals definitely will be taken care of. Uh, but in extraneous, circumstances, then if we have to step up 100%, that's what we're here for.
Mm, okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All right. So we got that out the way. So today, I wanted to, discuss, talk about some of the, you've been doing this for, I don't know, 30, 40 years. You've seen a lot, you've experienced so much. But specifically in regards to, the retreats, like
Yes.
the question I wanted to pose to you is like, if you could share any, you know, testimonials or things that you've seen, like, some of the things that has been like wow, just some of the healing, maybe not healing miracles, but things that have happened to the guests that you've been able
Just let
to
it ring
serve over
cold.
the
Hot soup.
years. If there's anything that comes to mind.
Yeah, well, I tell you, based on the reality of today, as I mentioned a minute earlier, I alluded to, we're going to be personalizing these experiences as much as possible. We're going to be curating these experiences. Of course, we're going to share with you what we have advertised. We're going to get that. But we want to go even further and make this a real reality healing experience, or life health journey for the individual. But the testimonies over the years with what's going on, even with people who have just left last week, is that getting your relationship together with food really puts you in a position to strengthen and further all of your other relationships on this planet, with our loved ones, with our friends, with our co-workers, with strangers on the street, with animals in our immediate surrounding, in our vicinity, and our whole outlook to animals. I recently did a major presentation to my group in India, connected with the Anna University in Chennai, which I did an in-person presentation with them about 6 years ago. And, they remind me that when I was in India, you know, they saw beyond food with me, you know, and it was quite an honor to be treated the way I was treated with my people in India. I ended up training 65 chefs in India, and these are professional chefs from the South Culinary Indian Chef Association, and they were tied to a resort there. And at the end of all of my presentations there in India, I was blessed with saris and a whole bunch of gifts. And they said, no, you are not the father of raw food. You're not a guru of raw food. You're not a Swami of raw food. You are the Swami Ji, the Swami Ji of raw food. And I'm getting this from, these people are in Chennai, in Tamil state. This is the cradle of yoga in India. And the group that I was addressing a group of yoga therapy students, yoga therapy students. And, so the experience goes beyond food. And this is what
Okay.
we're saying. And this has been like the greatest acclamation, not only through those individuals, but take it from one of our greatest ancestors, Dick Gregory. What Dick Gregory quoted, if God was to come back to this planet, I would look for sun-fired foods, because this food is exactly what godliness is about. Testimonial from our greatest raw food living, ancestral spirit that set the foundation, set the path to us. And another one of our greatest ancestors. This woman, to me, she's known as the longest living vegan ever that I've known. And she, for over 60 solid years, maybe as much as 70 years, was a complete plant food eater. And I'm talking about Cicely Tyson. And Cicely Tyson certified with me in Park Slope, Brooklyn, New York in 1999. She came and took the Sunfire certification course. And when she invited me to Broadway backstage, when she was on that play, A Trip to Bountiful, and we were backstage with her, She introduced me to the whole audience backstage as meet Dr. Aris, the god of food.
Mm.
So this is the impact of food. This is the testimonial. And not only from these illustrious ancestors and some of our living vegetarian, vegan masters straight out of India,
Mm-hmm.
top vegetarian community country in the world, and our everyday students that come to us, the testimonials are like off the chain. And it's not so much about me, it's about the food. And this is where I feel
Okay,
blessed.
I think you need to maybe turn off the volume on. If you have multiple devices, I think the
Okay,
echo is coming on your end. So maybe
okay,
turn down the volume on your computer.
okay. Well, I'm going to touch the volume on most of them, on all of them here. Okay, okay. How's that? How are we doing now?
Uh,
I've cut the volumes in half.
well, I don't hear the echo, but people been messaging and
Okay,
saying they was hearing the echo. So I don't hear an echo on my end.
okay. Well, we need to
So
check
can
the
people let
volume
us know if
on
y'all
this one
still
for
hear
the
an
echo.
echo on whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, IG? We good? Is that better?
Okay, so we need to connect this headphone.
All right, on YouTube we good,
Okay,
but I think
is
on IG,
your headphone connected to IG or YouTube?
my headphone is connected to IG because I'm on using on my
Okay, he's
phone.
connected to IG, his headphone, but it's not him. It's people hearing feedback. Okay, but let us know if it continues. We have the volume in three devices right here. Actually, these two we've half the volume. This one I haven't checked the volume as yet. So if it continues, we're gonna cut that volume down.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, it's
Okay.
about the food. It's about sun-fired foods. And to be, honest, I feel so blessed to be the bearer of this message here of sun-fired foods, foods of the sun. And our ancestors, the sun was God, Ra, still is Ra.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the sun is the chef. I am not the chef. The sun is the only chef on this planet, and it cooks our food. So to cook the food artificially, stove, ovens, microwaves, or whatever, we're actually cooking the sunshine out of the food. And that is our objective. That is the goal of sun-fired cuisine, is to do an effective transfer of solar energy from the food to our body. And when we kill the food, when we cook it, then that energy is no longer, fully structured in compatible, to be compatible with our anatomical, vibrations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we want to be clear that folks that are interested in coming, uh, they have to schedule in the fact of the quarantine. So again, we're going to try to really be flexible and accommodating, and again, let us know if you're interested. I know that we have, is it the 27th? Yes, the 27th. But then you can check out our complete calendar. It is on. Oh, I guess I'm hearing my voice, but that's okay. I'm. We can go to your. You can go to your website, right? And you go to my website. And you can check out
Yes,
the calendar.
sunfire.com. That's
You can go to
correct.
sunfire.com. You can go to keprasrawfoodjuicebar.com, and you can get the information. Or you could just message us directly, and we can give you all the information you need. So again, we're trying. I'm sure that we would create the best experience, and in light of those powerful testimonies from our honored ancestors. Actually, this is an experience that I'm sure would be transformative on every level. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
On YouTube. YouTube is back. Yeah, and
okay, yeah,
Facebook is
YouTube.
back. So we're back.
Okay, great,
Okay.
great.
So yeah, so the thing about, really making this a true 100% partnership is that it begins on our end with your initial inquiry. So I encourage you to call or submit your phone number to sunfired@sunfired.com if you're interested, and get it from us firsthand. My assistant Jeanette, she's standing by to address all calls. And the authority that we're looking at, and you could do this yourself, look at the US government website based on the Panama Embassy, the US Embassy in Panama. All of the latest, up to date, credible information, not what you hear on the street or hear in the news, is the directive that we're following based on the US government website, the US Embassy in Panama. And that coincides with whatever the Panama government is saying as well. So these are the people that have the power to deny you to enter a plane in the US to come to Panama, or to deny you entry into Panama when you land in Panama. So these are the directives we're following. We're not following anything other than those directives, the official government line of conditions on the ground in Panama right here and right now. And our assistant Jeanette, she's in touch with the with these systems, with these authorities, and monitoring all of the latest information, and she has it all. So whatever health form you may need to fill out, and the whole. Okay, so here we're back in. So when it buffers like this, I'll let you know. So we just pause our conversation, but we're coming
Hmm.
back into Facebook. We're here back on YouTube. It seems like it happens every so minutes, and it goes for about 30 seconds or so. So we'll
Right,
continue.
right, right. Okay. So, and that's really just, we talk about the quarantine. It's really just on the front end of their time. They have to. They
Yes,
come in the first 3 days. So, I mean, if it was me and I was coming as a participant, I would basically schedule to come 3 days before the schedule
that's
to
it.
retreat. So I think we want to, if you're, any of you watching this thinking about coming, looking at the calendar, I think it'd be good to plan 3 days ahead. Therefore, as you said, we'll still be responsible for feeding you, but then you get the full time, at, like I said, at at the either the in the city, at the at the location in the city, or at the farm.
That's correct. And we're definitely, open to partnering with you on the extra charges for the hotel, for even those extra 3 days if you come 3 days ahead of time. So we definitely are doing that. And also, we would like to also even, for me, it's better if ideally if you partner up with someone to come. I
Mm,
think this is where, this is our strategy of really standing up to the system and getting our value still. So if you partner up with someone, so if you're planning on coming, try to get someone else to come with you. So that way, even the quarantine in the hotel, you're only paying for one room because it's not per person, and you can both stay in one room. And also, we are willing, based on my numbers at this point, I'm willing to extend up to a 40% discount for the second person. So if you want to bring someone else to sign up with you, you share in the same room, one of you pay full price, and the second person only would pay 60%. And I hope, I didn't discuss it with my brother Khepra, but, you know,
it's okay, man. It's okay.
yeah, but we need to go, beyond the extra mile.
Right,
And I think this is one way of us partnering with you, you partnering with someone, and we lighten the load all the way around.
right.
So we kick it in 40% in the bucket
Mm, okay,
right there, or 20% for each person.
right.
Discount literally. That's what we're doing. You
Mm,
know, so whatever that fee is, whether it's the certification course, the wellness detox retreat, then you know, two of you together, you share 40% off
okay.
for the second
And
year. Okay.
another question that we had, and we have discussed this privately. Our 2022 schedule.
Yes. Yes.
So we will be releasing that probably in the next week or two. But yeah, we do have a schedule, a tentative schedule. So for those of you who are looking at this and saying, "Okay, my plans are set for 2021, but for 2022 it's open." We have identified time periods within, I believe, beginning in March of 2022. I have it here. Let's see, March, September. And when I'm saying March, I'm saying like most probably 3 to 4 week blocks.
Yeah, between March and April, that the
So,
ending of March, beginning of
right.
April.
So we've identified like basically 4 week blocks within from mid March into April, mid September into October, and then all of December.
That's correct. That's good.
So,
And
so yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, I was finished.
Yeah, my advice, my suggestion is like do your booking with us.
Yeah, we were buffering on YouTube. Yeah.
Well, Facebook is back, YouTube is back. Yeah, so it's
Okay.
something with our internet strength here. So yeah, what I was saying is like my suggestion is book your reservation once we put the dates out for any time next year. You put in your $300 deposit that locks your space, but don't purchase airline tickets right away. Hold out on airline tickets because this COVID thing is it's fluxy. And we don't know what these folks are going to be up to a year from now. So
Right.
let's go to the wire. I would say minimum 30 days before your trip, you can start looking at your ticket. But if things stabilize, then you can look at your ticket 2 months in advance, 3 months in advance. But while it's still unstable, let's not purchase any tickets. So any commitment you make with us, ideally, it's not refundable, but it's transferable. So if you have to switch dates, expand your dates, shrink your dates back, then we're here to accommodate that 100%. So, but the main thing is give us the trust and confidence to know that you're going to come, you know, and we can continue, you know, with our movement forward, keep building and projecting and making our commitments to have a space for you next year. Otherwise, you know, we're going to be basically laying out, you know, of our pocket and holding and hoping and praying that nothing happens to prevent you from coming beyond our control. So let's play it safe, let's play it wise, and keep that African spirit, that African wisdom always, you know, in the center of our game.
Okay. All right. Well, let's shift gears, and as we mentioned earlier, we are in the equinox. I know a
Yes.
lot of people would. I've spoken about the equinox at length. So I think you know I love to hear what you would have to say, just in general, in terms of really creating the mindset, in terms of what we, how we need to move in these next few days.
Okay, well, number one, hydration, hydration, hydration. Keep moist, keep juicy. You
Mm,
know, otherwise you get dry, you're gonna get dense, you're gonna get cranky, and you're gonna be cracking. We don't want to crack up. We don't want to dry out. We don't want to dehydrate. So my hydration for the day. Already did my noni shot this morning and my internal shower with coconut water. I'm going double extra heavy now. So I'm taking another shot here, you know, at the middle of my day. And this one here, yeah, aloe vera,
mm,
100%. The vera, the very true aloe vera. So excuse me
okay.
while I hit the sky.
Okay. All right.
Woo! Yeah. Okay. And then I got over here. I got my coconut water. Got my
Mhm.
coconut water over here, and I brought a load from the farm. So we stacked up right now. We got about 30 gallons of coconut water ready for who's coming in this week. Who's on board? The coconut water is ready. We got it here in the city. We got 30 of these bottles
Mm,
lined up with coconut water. Yeah, frozen, you know, next best. And look,
mhm,
cane juice.
mm.
Obviously, you hit my double extra, my coconut water with, you know, a couple of ounces of cane juice. And let me show you something. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, we juiced. We juiced about 12 of these, and I brought this one with the root to the city. So we got it sitting in water. We're planting it here. We're on the penthouse. We're on the rooftop. So it's
Mm.
still got the green leaves on this end. So we're gonna
Beautiful.
grow coconut. Well, we got coconuts already here on the rooftop, but now we have sugar cane growing on our rooftop here in Panama. So we brought a few gallons of cane juice also. You know, later on I'm gonna do ginger shot.
Mm. Okay.
So it's something with the internet here. When we pulling extra heavy data, you know, we pulling heavy.
Mm.
So yeah, later on I'm doing lemon ginger. So I'm gonna have a
Mm.
lemon ginger ale later on.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I'm fasting today with the equinox, so this is where I'm at. You know,
Mhm.
yesterday, today, tomorrow. But yesterday, look, I'm in reality zone here. Yesterday, for a Spanish version of IG Live, we made a quiche. We made a broccoli quiche with pumpkin seed. So you can go to IG and check it out, and you see the recipe live in action. Aris underscore Latam in IG live yesterday. Me and my partner were there now, and she came in from the U.S. Sunday night. She was in the U.S. for 2 days, Friday and Saturday. Went to a convention there. She's a Panamanian citizen, so she came in from the U.S. like midnight Monday, Sunday night. You
Mm.
know, I think she must have came on the Spirit Red Eye. You know, they'd be dropping in that time. And
Right.
she's in quarantine right now. Well,
Mm.
she's next door to me. She's my neighbor because she's a Panamanian citizen. So it affects all of us. It affects all of us. But we gotta. It's part about being modern. you know, yeah. Don't let them break our stride. Stay
Mm.
hip, grab your grip, and take your trip, please. you
Mm.
know.
Mm.
So that's my message for today with this equinox vibration that's going on right now, and keep juicy, keep hydrated, and kick in the fasting button whenever you need to. And this is
Right.
part of what we have these fasting intermittent or block period of time like we're doing now. And this is a natural and automatic so that we don't succumb to whatever, viruses is going on today in the fall in our environment. Because really the equinox and these change of seasons is when, there's massive detox going on automatically. So that's why we're
Mm.
fasting and we're going with the flow. We're connected with the universe. We're heavenly bodies out here in space.
Right.
So that we're being affected by the movements and shifts from all these other planets. And now we registering what's going on with these damn satellites, those fake heavenly vehicles out there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so hey, we with it, and
Mm.
we're definitely on the vanguard of our civilization that we're building right now. You got to get with your food, you got to get with your health, you got to get with your well-being, and this is why now I'm looking to curate more personalized experience on all these retreats, all these programs that we have here. And with my brother Khepra rocketing in the house, who knows? He might break out a capoeira on us one day. You know. So let's have fun, and we're
uh,
here to DJ with you. Whatever you like, we're here to make it happen. Come on home.
yeah. So that was a question I had. Why is it even with everything we've been talking about, like everything happening that's affecting us politically? To me, it would seem as now more than ever, it's time
hmm
to really be responsible, really take responsibility, really start to get control of your health. This animal, is really no leeway or no room to be playing around.
Oh yes, oh yes. We got look. We got to put this animal under manners. Like look, I grab this little guy. I'm like, look, Aris.
Yeah, right.
This is me, spirit talking. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and it's like yesterday. The little animal was like, I want some broccoli quiche. I know you're trying to fast us. I want some broccoli quiche. That broccoli quiche is off the chain. I said, yeah, you deserve it. You've been good. We're gonna break the fast, Equinox fast. We can give you a meal. We don't want you to miss this reality moment, so you can have your broccoli quiche. So the little animal had his broccoli quiche yesterday, and they got
Right. Mm.
are fasting, and that's the moment you want to make sure that you're fasting when it switches from one planet to the next planet. taking rule, taking control of our everyday action for the present reality.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So now, I guess we can open it up to questions. If anyone, whether you're on IG, I
Yeah,
can
we
see
need to get the
IG.
IG. Ernesto, 1 minute, please. Ernesto, tráigame el cargador rojo, está arriba. Y enchúflame este aquí, por favor. Okay, my
So yeah,
assistant
if you're
Ernesto,
on,
he's going to
I'm
get
not
the
able to
charger.
see any.
Yeah,
I'm
the
not able to
charger.
see the YouTube, but I can see the IG and I can see the YouTube. If you have any questions, please post them there. We're
Okay,
here.
the
I mean,
IG, the battery on the IG is dead for the moment, so we're gonna plug that in
oh,
and
okay,
recharge. But Facebook is in on my end, and YouTube is in on my end.
okay, okay. Well, I can see again. Like I said, for those of you, if you have any questions, now is the time. We'll take a few questions while we have the doctor in the house, and like we said, this is a powerful time right now with the fall equinox. As we look forward to the winter solstice, which is a really strong time. This season. I mean, Doc, talk about like because I talk about a lot. Between the fall equinox and the spring. I mean, the winter solstice. It
Yes.
isn't. It's no coincidence that we have a lot of these holidays, at least in the U.S. here, where where the focus is on food and feasting and doing really the opposite of
True.
what we should be doing.
Yeah, well, you see the fall, and the fall as is represented is that all shall fall. The leaves fall off the trees. The last harvest, crop for the season is harvested before the frost. So this is a time, but yeah, so I can understand they probably got a bountiful of harvest coming in the fall, and they're trying to, eat it all rather than throw it away. So that's probably part of the big eat up between, the fall and the winter, movements here. Uh, this could be part of that action, but the whole thing really is to be able to put stuff away. Grandma used to pickle stuff, dehydrate
Mm,
stuff,
right,
you know.
right.
Yeah, get ready. I remember she would start from now to get her Christmas cake ready. And back in the islands, back in the day, Grandma used to get her port wine and soak her dried fruits. She'll soak her dried fruits in a big bottle of wine because that fruit cake for Christmas in the Caribbean was a big thing, and they started getting ready like 3 months early. So let it soak and marinate and really get with it. So Ernesto, llámame a Jeanette, por
Okay.
favor.
So
Okay, we got our assistant coming in here. Go
we got
ahead.
a question. Please speak about the marijuana tea.
The
Does it give off
marijuana tea.
the marijuana tea? Does it give off the same effects as smoking?
Well, no, all herbs, herbal teas, that is, it's always recommended to steep and not boil.
Mm.
Okay. Why do you think it's recommended for your, mint leaves, your dandelion leaves? Why you should steep these herbs and not boil them? My conclusion is that the more heat you apply to the herbs, the more of the toxic elements in the herb you're going to extract. So just steeping them, you're getting mostly the medicinal value. You're getting the medicinal. So sun tea is major. Rather than using heat, artificial heat, intense heat, high temperature, just put your dried herb in a jar with water, spring water, sit it out in the sun for 8, 12 hours. If you don't have sunshine, just leave it sit 24 hours. You know, let it sit overnight, but let it draw. That's why they call it sun tea, because ideally you're supposed to sit it in the sun.
Okay.
While okay, so the
YouTube
buffering
is back.
the buffering of the YouTube is back. Okay, uh, so yeah, the more heat you apply to the herb, the more toxins you're going to extract from it. And the example I always use is using senna leaf as an example. Senna leaf is a laxative. So if you just soak it in the sun, hydrate it, make sun tea, you get a nice mild laxative bowel movement. You
Mm,
know, if you steep it, you know, you'll feel a heavier movement. But
right.
if you boil the senna leaf, you're going to get cramps.
Mm.
You get cramping. So it's like a belly, my belly cut me. She give me senna tea, you know. So it's because you boiled it, that extra heat, you're drawing toxins out of it. So maybe if you take senna leaf and roll it up and burn it as a spliff, who knows? It might take you to a whole nother level too. So that's the analogy I'm using so you can see, you could try it with ganja leaf now. So try the difference. Number one, I challenge you, ganja, cannabis, herb, hemp, whatever you want to call it, you know, medicinal or non-medicinal, THC or the other stuff in it,
Right. The CBD as a
CBD.
yeah.
The challenge is get your get your green, fresh herb with the buds and everything and run it through a juice extractor. Or you can leave the buds out. But get the leaf
Oh,
and run it through a juice extractor. We got a low battery over here as well. So if you run it through the juice extractor, that fresh green juice, ganja herb juice. Hey, I've seen women hot flashes drinking that. Our flashes go away. You know,
from the green ganja juice.
the juice from the green ganja, or we get an eye drop. We put like a teaspoon, you know, the eye drop, not the eye drop, the eye cup to wash your eyes with.
Mm.
You know, rinse your eyes. You know, the eye cup. You put a teaspoon or half a teaspoon of ganja juice in there, and put a half a teaspoon or a quarter teaspoon of aloe vera juice in there. That combination together, and put that cup in your eye. We're talking glaucoma.
Mm.
Bust up that glaucoma, that dehydrated stagnant starch, that white ring around your iris, which is glaucoma. Ganja juice will do that. Take it from me personally. I've seen it.
Okay.
So the next level is the dry herb. Yeah, you could take the dry herb, you could boil it, steep it, sit it in the sun, or you can even make cookies with it. You see, once you bake it, you can go into a whole, I mean, you bake some dry ganja in some food. I remember back in the days in the 1960s, during the LSD period, somebody brought some ganja cookies to the party. And I ate them ganja cookies, man. I didn't know what I was eating. I'm like, ooh, ooh munchies, you know, because we had smoked already. So we had the munchies, and now we're eating cookies laced with dried ganja. Man, I thought I was dying. I thought I was dying. I felt life leave my fingers, my toes, and it came up. And this is 1969. Yeah, Fort Greene, New York. Me and my man Tony from Barbados hanging out with the hippies. And one of them bring ganja cookies to the party. And I literally thought I was dying. They took me to the emergency hospital, Brooklyn Hospital, Brooklyn, Long Island University Hospital, right down the street. And the analysis, the diagnosis was, boy, go home. You had a nervous stomach.
Uh,
A nervous stomach.
that's what I wanted to. That was going to be my next question. or my next point I wanted to really bring out, because when we talk about heating anything, especially flames and intense heat, I mean, you mentioned a few examples: the senatee, the marijuana leaves. It's almost like we become so desensitized, and really all the more important. We talking about this now during the equinox period, when we fast, we create a level. Oh, okay, yeah, actually, well, yeah, that's what I'm. I have earphones.
So, okay, we're back
Oh, we're back. Okay,
on YouTube. So YouTube is
so
what's giving us the audio here.
with fasting, especially during our equinox period, creates a higher level of you say nervousness or sensitivity. Therefore, putting these things to high heat and flames is going to make them almost too intense.
Ah,
So,
yeah.
so I think that's a point that I really wanted to make. We talk about boiling, heating, overheating, our precious herbs and foods, and
Yeah,
then
but one
ingesting.
example, if for a minute, Separate, excuse for cutting you, but look at
I can't hear you.
putting stuff on the grill.
Oh, hold on.
You there? You hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Yeah, look at putting stuff on the grill, and you put a piece of steak or something on the grill, and you char it, and you see that burnt, toasted, charcoal looking fat. That's carcinogenic.
Right.
That's carcinogenic. The medical establishment say, yeah, that's cancer. You're creating cancer cells in your body. So yeah, high heat is a killer. Fire kills. Fire kills. Stop playing with fire.
But we
So
also see. I want to make sure we understand. And for our community that is into our herbal science and medicine, that the heat is going to make it almost too strong, too much.
yes, yeah. So
Whether
when you
so,
when you
yeah,
when you torch ganja, you're extracting the medicinal purposes, the medicinal value, but also you're extracting some toxins. And to me, a lot of this, what we call being high, being irie, is a toxic irritation on the brain cells. It's actually a destruction of brain cells in effect. And this is why the majority of you, if not all of you, when you get blasted on ganja, the munchies, the munchies kick in. The munchies are real. The system is trying to protect the brain and get that toxins off the brain, so it's bringing the blood down to the digestive system. And when you have the munchies, you don't want an apple. You're not looking for watermelon. You're looking for something that's hard to digest, some big
right.
food. And in Jamaica, we talking yam and dumpling and cocoa bread and dasheen and heavy food.
Dumpling,
And
right?
you see
Yeah,
yourself in the US, you be grabbing those pistachios, roasted pistachios, and eating 2 pounds of them. But I got the munchies, or cashews, roasted cashews, or peanuts, or whatever, or a big bucket of tofu, tough for you.
right.
Yeah. So let's
All
be
right.
careful now.
All right. So I think we covered that pretty well. We got another question about wine. To my understanding, wine is raw. So, what's your thoughts about wine?
Well, not all wine is raw.
Okay.
Most wines that you get commercially out there, they've been cooked. Otherwise, the bottle will explode.
Mm,
So not all wines are technically raw. But yeah, fermenting wine, fermenting grape juice. Let's talk about grape juice because that's what
Mm.
most wines are made of. When you're fermenting grape juice, you're multiplying the enzymes, the digestive enzyme. So a lot of people that are doing this wine pairing is to help them digest some of the food. So a lot of them, cheese with wine and this little piece of meat with some wine and stuff like that. If it wasn't for the wine, probably these things would probably, put a bigger hurting on them long time ago. So,
Uh,
and it's the same thing. You look at it with strong alcohol. People who are
right,
heavy meat eaters, the
right.
more meat they eat, the more alcohol they're going to drink.
Mm.
And the more alcohol they drink, they want their meat rare because the alcohol needs something to cook. It's fuel for fire, and it's going to cook your liver. You're going to end up with cirrhosis of the liver if you don't give it some other meat to cook. It'll burn your liver out. So
Mm.
the more you eat, the more alcohol you're going to drink.
Yeah, we're buffering on YouTube. Okay. Yeah, should we be back? Okay. All right. So while we wait here on YouTube,
Okay,
oh, okay.
okay,
Yeah,
we're
go ahead.
back here.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the pairing of wine and pairing of meat with
Mhm.
liquor, it's like liquor and meat goes hand in hand.
Mm.
The more meat you eat, the more liquor you're gonna drink because that meat needs something to cook it, something to burn it out. And the more you drink, the more you're gonna want to eat meat.
Mm.
So it's like one side of the sword and the other one is the other end of the blade.
Mm. Kind
And
of,
the
kind of.
same thing with the wine. The wine goes with the cheese and those kind of things. It goes with stuff, and they got fruit, wine, and cheese. What a combination!
Well, kind of similar. That makes me think about like in our vegan community with burning, putting flame to the herb. Then you have the heavy starches, the beans and the rice and the heavy dumpling.
Yeah,
It's like one sort of complementing the other.
yeah. Well, let me share with you about an ancient community of raw foodists on this planet. That
Mm.
many of them are still around today. Some brothers and sisters in the hills of Jamaica. One of the main one is Prof I.
Yeah,
Prof I. You can
I
look
think
him
I
up.
met him.
Prof I. So, and Prof I, he's about 70s. He's around my age,
Hmm.
but he comes from a tradition of brothers that traditionally live in the hills in Jamaica, and some of them been raw longer than me. I've been raw
Wow.
now 45 years. Some of them raw 60 years, and I know a lot of them are still around. And these brothers up in the hill like that, these raw food, and they don't smoke ganja. A lot of them don't smoke ganja,
Right.
and they don't just eat the mangoes and the oranges and the papaya and the jackfruit just like that. Guess what they do? They let it sit and ferment,
Mm.
super pre-digested. So they're not activating no digestive energy, hardly. So that's where the whole roots wine culture and a lot of that stuff started in the hills with these kind of brothers, fermenting roots and herbs and barks and all of this stuff, but it was all about fermenting your fruits.
So
So
they're
we got
making
some higher
concoction.
science here that we haven't been in touch with,
So
but
yeah.
go ahead, Khepra.
So they're making, the, like as you said, the true roots wine. Sometimes I've seen Rasta brothers sell like the bitters and the Rasta the
Yeah.
concoctions. This is where
And
that
these are
comes
some
from.
brothers who are doing the ones not with things that you have to boil for 10 hours and 20 hours, because a lot of them
Right.
with the roots and stuff, those things you have to boil. But they get the medicine out. They got it down to a big science. And they balance it with, avoiding the toxins, or maybe in some cases, the toxins is part of the healing.
Okay.
The toxins can be part of the healing. How do you think medicinal mushrooms work?
Mm,
Medicinal mushrooms are poisoning you,
mm.
and the body trying to
Well,
get rid
also
of that poison, it ejects other poison in the body with it as well.
the
How do you think
hallucinogenic mushrooms.
homeopathic medicine work?
Right.
It's homeopathic. Put poison in your system. And how you think they tried to do with the vaccine culture over the years? It gives you the issue, but now they've gone into a whole nother frame of unreality. But
Mm,
anyway,
right.
it's all about food and
Right.
what's on your next plate.
Mm,
My plate, thanks to
right. Right.
Michelle Obama. My
Right.
plate, the U.S. food guidelines. She laid it out. This is what you should eat: 50% fruits and vegetables. The USDA food guidelines is still in place from when she developed it, and she had an organic garden in the White House. 50% fruits and vegetables should be on my plate. And the other 50%, she said, protein and grains. She did not put the emphasis on meat like the food pyramid, and she did not mention the word starch. She specifically put on my plate grains.
Mm,
So
mm.
let's wise up. It's coming at you, but you're missing the message. You're missing a lot of message. You missed that part. You missed that U.S. food chart. And I'm like,
Right.
man, she probably been peeping my Sunfire chart because it pretty
All right. So we right. So okay.
yeah, we really
We're back.
okay. So yeah, we've been having it, and we're missing a lot of these pivot points in our history. So those of you who don't know about my plate, take a look at the USDA guidelines and see what should be on your plate.
Yeah, and
And and based on that, they're also telling us it's cool to be vegetarian because they do not mention meat. They just said protein.
okay.
All right.
I think it's worth mentioning, as far as the grains, the whole science of soaking, sprouting,
Yes,
you know,
yes. Activating, taking it to the
exactly,
next level.
exactly.
Oh yes.
Okay, so we'll remind folks that we got some new information in terms of our travel to Panama. If you're interested in any of the programs we have going coming up, that you schedule 3 days prior to do your quarantine, and then experience the full program that we have to offer. So we're here for a few more minutes. We'll take a few more questions. Oh, well, this is a good one. Uh, oatmeal,
What was that?
oatmeal.
Oatmeal. Oh my God. Oatmeal is very profitable. It makes a lot of money. It's a nice value added, low cost grain to produce that they are selling in like bucket loads, truckloads, plane loads, tanker loads of this thing. But anytime you hear the word meal, number one, you need to find out whether the grains, the whole grains, were pre-soaked prior to them doing it. So there are companies that take the whole oat groats. That is the grain of the oat. Groats. It's called a groat. The wheats or wheat berries. The flax or seeds, flax seeds. But this is a groat, oat groats. So they take the whole groats, the whole grain, soak it, sprout it, soak it, germinate it, sprout it, then they dehydrate it and pulverize it, so you get oat
Meal.
activated, sprouted oat groats, or oatmeal, But most of what you're buying today, oatmeal itself as we know it, is oats groats that were cooked. So before we even get to oatmeal, let's talk about cracked oats.
Yeah, because
Steel cut
right,
oats.
because they're like flakes.
Well, first you have the steel cut, where it's just cut in half or
Okay.
chopped in some way. So those are cooked. They cook them, they chop them, and dehydrate them. So that's steel cut oats. So it's cooked. Rolled oats, they cook the oat groats. And these were not pre-soaked necessarily. They just boil them, cook them, and then they roll them out and flatten them.
Ah.
Flatten them. So it's a rolled oats.
Ah. Okay.
But they cooked.
Right.
Then you got oatmeal, cooked oats that were not soaked, were not sprouted, and turned into a meal. Because making oat flour is messy, it's sticky, it tastes, it's glue. So they do the oatmeal.
Mm.
Same like with the corn meal.
Yeah,
Because
but even
otherwise, there's too much starch in corn. You end up with
you know,
corn starch powder, like talc for your baby or something.
I mean, instinctively for me, I look at the oatmeal and you see the little round again flattened out flakes. Um, it looks like that's I don't know. I mean, I guess they formed from that process you just explained.
Well, a lot of these things start from they trying to salvage last year's crop. So
Mm.
whatever amount of uh, steel cut oats or rolled oats.
All right, we're
Mhm.
back.
So I suspect is whatever rolled oats or steel cut oats or whole oats that isn't sold from last year's crop. And when the
Mm.
new crop come in, they just grind it, turn it into meal and package it and put it on the shelf. So usually any processed stuff like that, they're suspect of being old food that they just
And 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 and
remarketing.
and it really being just like any other cooked starch.
Oh, it's terrible cooked starch because it's glue. That's why they put it in all your cookies. That's what hold the white flour together. Or the whole wheat flour, whole wheat oatmeal cookie. The whole wheat ain't got no gluten, not enough gluten in it. So you put white flour, or in this case, they put cornmeal or corn starch or oat starch, oatmeal to hold it together. In this particular case that we're talking about. So be careful with oatmeal and other what I call these like vulgar foods.
Mm.
And a big one on the list is bulgur wheat.
Um,
Bulgur wheat. It's a
right.
vulgar food. It's vulgar wheat. It's
Mm.
flour. It's wheat that's been chopped and broken down to a point where it was already steamed. It's cooked. Bulgur wheat is cooked. There's some raw foodies who still up to today believe the fact that since they're not cooking the wheat themselves, that it's raw. But it was already cooked at the farm. The whole principle of bulgur, that Arabic word, is that it's steamed. It's pre-cooked at the farm. And another one that you need to watch out with, which a lot of us fall into that trap as well, is couscous.
Hmm.
Couscous. I call it couscous in Jamaican. It's a curse. It's couscous. It's curse food.
Chris.
Couscous is durum semolina wheat. It's stripped down, white flour. Basically, they took the germ out and all of that stuff, the fiber, the
Mm-hmm.
bran,
Mm-hmm.
and made this nice little looking, curse food, couscous. So be careful with these things because you don't have to cook it. Don't think that they are actually raw. And
Well, what?
another thing on that note is date sugar. Don't buy date sugar.
Mm,
It doesn't sweeten. It's old date. It's from last year. And it's not marketable anymore. They want to push the freshness, so they take them and make date sugar. That's why you see sometimes you don't even find date sugar. Like, what happened to date sugar? And you got to use a lot to get your thing sweetened because it's old stuff. They didn't have no bumper crop last year, so this year you're not going to get date sugar.
see, but this all highlights the fact that we need to, the things that we're offering in terms of nutrition, science, techniques, in terms of using fresh food, real food, food,
Yes.
these processes, the technology has caught up with how they're able to repackage, reprocess old food that we in large part become addicted to.
Yeah,
Uh,
one in particular, Khepra, sorry to cut you again, but when these little things come up that I got these hot thoughts on my mind,
yeah.
that stuff that they in Jamaica we call veggie chunks
Uh,
and veggie mints, that texturized vegetable protein made from defatted soybean. Soybean oil is the biggest selling oil on the planet. So the gook that's left over, the gunk that's left over, that's what they sell you as chunks and mints. So we have to be careful with this kind of stuff. And it's the same thing they put in dog foods and stuff. That you got to soak them and they swell up. They took the
mhm.
fat out, they took the protein out. So it's the starch, it's the glue. And they put this nice, trigonology word on it, textured protein. What the heck is a textured protein? It's
Right.
dog food.
Dog
It's
food.
vegetarian dog food.
Mm.
And that's why it's so amazing. One of our greatest illustrious raw food group of brothers and sisters is the Aris family.
Oh, buffering.
Okay, well, I'm not going to go there. We have enough flame in the fire. We got enough
Okay.
flame in the fire. So,
All right, we're back.
yeah. So, anyway, we can move on. We can move on from these types of topics and remind our people here
Yeah.
it's a bright day. It's a beautiful day. It's the fall equinox. Got a nice soft sunshine here in Panama today. Got my culinary herbs. They're out in the sun, getting a soft sun. We watered them this morning.
Mm-hmm.
We got things ready here at the Institute. Our teaching kitchen is ready here in the city, ready for you to, get off the plane, get out of your quarantine, and come on home. We're here to fire you up, and the fire, the spirit, the energy that we're sharing this with you today. We want to, we want to spread it. We want to
Yeah.
spread it, and we want to, make sure you fully understand that you're welcome home, and nothing stops our show here.
Yeah. All right. So, do you want to take any more questions, or we're going to leave it there?
Yeah, I think we could leave it there. I think we've answered some good hot questions for the day, and we don't want to go off the temperature, radar here. So the next one might be too flaming. Let's leave that one till next week.
Okay. All right. So you heard that. we will be back next week. I should be on the ground. I should be
Ah,
out of my
yes.
quarantine,
Ah, yes.
and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, we'll be back next Tuesday,
Next
direct
Tuesday.
from Panama.
Oh,
And
yes.
if you're here, on multiple streams, just share the information. Again, we got programs coming up, so hit sunfire.com, keppersrawfoodjuicebar.com. You can send us, you could direct messaging. Aris has his assistant Jeanette standing by. So we're here to be of service, and to again, these times are tricky, and all the more reason we got to get this temple in order.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
All right. So
Yes. It's the
all
only
right.
thing we own on the planet is this
That's
temple.
right. That's
So
right.
let's step up and love the life we were born to live.
All right. All right.
All right.
Well, peace and well love to the family, and we will see y'all soon.
All right. Peace out,
All
family.
right. Peace.
Blessings. All
Bless.
right.